actually in the meeting to get Smart Guy, because that show was created, and I went into the meeting and I had a fake cell phone, like a toy.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the meeting, I had it ring. And I answered it and was like, hold on, guys. And this is like a bunch of big wigs at a table.
That's a
and I'm
great
like,
bit.
hold on, guys. And I'm like, I'm in a meeting right now. Let me call you back. So I was always like a ham.
Oh, you were in character.
Yeah, so
He's the
it
smart
wasn't,
guy in
I
the
wasn't
room.
like, oh my God, I got to carry the show. It was like, yeah, I got to carry the show. It's cool.
I'll guarantee you when you pulled that bit off, everybody just looked at each other and went, this is our guy.
This is the guy.
This is the kid.
Yeah.
This is the kid.
Yeah,
No one else
Yeah.
is going to do that. Oh, I love that story. Now, Christy Carlson Romano is, she's part of our PodCo family.
She's so good at it, man.
And she's so lovely. Her husband is one of our partners here.
Oh, sick.
Yes, Brendan Rooney. So it's kind of all in the family here, how this all works out and glues together. She's been on our show here,
Such a
and you
delight.
guys. She is. Yeah, I just think the world of her.
Yeah.
You worked with her on the Kim Possible
I did.
animated series, and I want to ask you. I've been on a few animated series in my illustrious career.
You could have your own animated series, Dave, and play every character if you wanted to.
Well, I'm still waiting.
Call him up, people. Come on.
Still waiting. Hey, animation, president of animation. Can you put that together? I'm here.
Yes, sir.
Even Tahj said it, for crying out loud.
Come on, man.
So, what's the challenge for you? When you're doing animation, it's kind of a different head for me than it is a different headspace than when you're, live action.
Yeah.
How is it for you?
For it is completely different, and for me, I have to be mindful of, I'm a very expressive person, so I could, I can do with my face what maybe my voice isn't giving off when I'm on camera. I can like make it a whole package deal. But with voiceover, it's all voice.
Yeah.
So, early on I had to realize like, you have to learn how to bring that emotion only in your voice.
Yeah.
But I love voiceover work. I love doing animation. I also love the schedule of doing animation. That was during high school when I had taken a break from acting. Kim Possible was the only thing I was doing because it didn't command a lot of
too, right? Like
we did
something.
We did a lot. I think I was doing that show, something to do with that show for 5-6 years. Because at one point we had a not a ride, but sort of an adventure walkthrough at Disney World.
Yeah.
And I remember the script was like this thick, and my character was the tech guy. So I couldn't even tell you how many hours that ride took, but it was so cool.
Yeah.
About probably 5 years of my life doing Kim Possible, but I loved it. And I think a couple times we were able to, maybe just one, like, because when you do animation, you're not always in the same room with your castmates.
Right.
So I think maybe once or twice we were able to do it with, me, Christy, Will. But most of the time you're just in there. You're in there, with the producers and everything. But you can show up in your PJs if you want, which is great.
I did. I would be in my underpants most of the time for those animation tapings. What I love about animation is sometimes when you're on an outrageous series, you walk in and sometimes you don't know the character you're going to do. You're like, you're the talking socks, you're the cow that flies backwards, and you're the spoons that hate each other. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Like spoons hate each other.
That's a great show. The spoons that hate each other.
Spoons that hate each other.
That's the show, Dave.
Next.
That's the show.
That's okay. Hey, president of animation. Okay, spoons that hate each other. Although hate is a pretty strong word.
Right, yeah.
Spoons that dislike each other. Okay, that's right. We're going to be a little nicer to each other. Well, we're both part of the Muppet family. Did you know that?
No.
I was on the Muppet Babies on CBS. I played Animal, Bunsen Honeydew, the two old men in the balcony, Waldorf and Statler, and Bean Bunny. You didn't know that?
They're my favorite, by the way.
Yeah. You know what the best part about this show is?
No, what's that?
It ends.
I loved playing
Dave,
those characters.
my day is made
Oh,
from that.
man.
Thank you, Dave.
Waldorf and Statler, those
Oh,
guys
man.
they always got the zingers.
I got to see their the puppets of them on set because they were in our last episode of Muppets Mayhem. They had a little cameo, and I remember reading the script going, yes, yes.
And you got to mine was all animated, Muppet Babies. Yours, you got to work with the actual puppets, and the stage is like built up, right?
Yeah, they're
like,
elevated
because the people are down.
Yeah, it was.
Tell us about that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so talk about. I don't think I've ever experienced like a first day of work that was as overwhelming as working on a live action Muppet show. You're elevated 4 feet off the ground. There's monitors everywhere because the Muppet performers have to see what they're doing.
Yep.
You have to make sure you don't get lost because you're so enamored at watching them do their work.
Yeah.
Because they're recording their lines at the same, like they're mic'd.
Right.
They're not doing their lines separately in a studio later on. They're doing the whole performance there, the movement, the eye lines. They're telling the camera, no, that's not the right spot. Can you move here? We got to move this monitor. Like it's a whole
It's a different type of talent those people have. Yeah.
They have their own masseuse on set because their arm is like this. I was like, oh, we got a masseuse on set?
That's
like,
all I have to do
just
is
for the Muppet performers. So I'm like, all right, bet.
Hey, my arm is up. Do we have somebody? My arm's been up for quite a while now. Okay.
It is such a different beast.
You could trip and fall, couldn't you? Like you're on these little walkways, right?
You know, they kept us very safe, of course.
Parachutes.
But the parachutes.
Yeah.
We're all in harnesses. All the ends of the cliffs, as I like to call them, are marked with very bright tape.
Right.
But I remember, I think it was my second day. I had to do a scene where I'm sprinting into the set that was called the Shack, and I have to sprint and stop where the floor ends. But I can't like look down, like, you know what I mean? I gotta be in the scene. And I remember being like, we're here. This is it. this is it. But yeah, it was overwhelming, but actually quite rewarding because you jump into it so quickly.
Yeah.
But again, I'd say also one of the harder things to get used to was eye lines because we're talking, I'm looking at where your voice is coming from.
Yeah.
But if you're a puppet and the Muppet performer's down there, my brain wants to look where the voice is coming from, but I can't do that.
Right.
I have to look up. So that was, I think the first couple days I had to be like, okay. And then being able to see yourself on a monitor, like, because, you know, when you're normally shooting something, whether it's, you know, multicam or single cam, you don't see yourself in real time. You got to go and watch the playback or like see the monitor, you know, but here you're right here. So, you know, you're okay. No, I can't worry about that. Got to be in the seat. You know what I mean? So it's different and it takes a very long time, Dave. Every setup is basically a visual effect shot.
Man.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But was the most fun I've ever had on a set.